Happy readers, my name is Liz and today we're going to talk about all the books that I read in the spring. I have not done a wrap up in quite a while, but I've been doing a lot of reading, so there's that. I got a Scribd account, so I've been reading quite a bit of ebooks, but the main ones have been Carrie Fisher autobiography, memoir kind of things, and so good. Yes, I am so sad that she has passed and we don't get any more of this brilliant writing. Like, goodness gracious, woman. Just so talented, so brilliant, and just so open and honest about everything. It's just so good, so good. I enjoyed all of them. You'll see overlap in each of them, so if you haven't read one and you want to read, there's no like particular order, just like read all of them. They're great. Somewhere between all of the Carrie Fisher memoirs, I read Anna Kendrick's Scrappy Little Nobody, and I adore her. She is brilliant and wonderful and everything, and now I know even more about her. And that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. I didn't know too much about how she came into acting and things like that, and some of her earlier films other than Twilight and Up in the Air, so this like covers everything, and it covers like her move to LA and things like that, and so I deeply enjoyed it. I was highly entertained, and I also really like, I don't know what this is called, but this stuff. It's so cute. I read quite a bit of middle grade. I know that the Rick Riordan books kind of fall somewhere between middle grade and YA, but I'm counting it as middle grade because it still feels like in that same vein of all the Percy Jackson books and stuff like that, so just keeping it in the MG even though the main character is like 16. Kind of already reviewed this book, but I will give you a brief rundown. This is Trials of Apollo, the Hidden Oracle. This is book 1 in the series, and Zeus cast Apollo down on the earth, and instead of giving him his usual powers or letting him keep his usual powers, he has no powers at all, and he's at the mercy of a like 12-year-old girl, and he has to follow her around and help her, and he has to go to Camp Half-Blood and stuff like that, and just all the things ensue, especially just his teen awkwardness, but also like it's so good. It's so good. I don't know if I liked it as much as some of the other books, but it's definitely like its own series. Like, it's in the same world, and we still see like Nico and other people at Camp Half-Blood. We even see Percy, but it's definitely like it's got its own set of cast of characters. This is Doll Bones by Holly Black, and this is definitely on the creepier side of middle grade. It's about these 3 kids who are in middle grade, and they are playing with dolls, but it's more like they're coming up with their own rules and own story and all their own worlds and stuff like that, and it is fantastic what they're doing. And then one of them, her mom gets a doll from an antique shop or something like that, and she's like, I swear there's something weird about this doll, and soon to find out that the doll is possessed in a way, and needs to be buried in her hometown. So the 3 kids go off on an adventure to help her lay her soul to rest. And then we have See You in the Cosmos, which is honestly one of my favorite books so far this year. It's about a boy who is inspired by Carl Sagan to record on a golden iPod, and he even names his dog Carl Sagan. And the boy goes on an adventure to a rocket convention, and basically he's like 10 or 11 and maturity-wise 13, as he says, and he is, you know, recording all of his adventures, and he's also looking for his real dad. He kind of finds a lead and is like, hey, couldn't go after this, and ends up in another part of, I think it's Las Vegas, and just all this stuff ensues. So there's so many adventures and so many things, and also you kind of find out, well, you definitely find out that his mother has a mental illness, and so it's just like there's so many things going on in this book, but it's so well done, and definitely, I wouldn't say on a darker side, but just definitely like there's more than one layer to this story. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. I listened to it as an audiobook, but in the book you'll see that it says you know, different sounds and stuff like that. So if you can do the audiobook of this, whether you go on Audible or I think Penguin Random House has an app, really enjoyed it, really did. Then we have Where You Reach Me by Rebecca Steed, and I love her book so much. There's just a quality to it that is just like so classic. And this one is set in the 1970s, I believe, and it's about this girl who, she has a single mom, and her mom has a boyfriend, yeah, but mom is going to be a contestant on a game show, and then you find out that there's some time traveler who's trying to talk to the young girl, and also she's got all this stuff going on with her friends and all this stuff, so it makes it feel like, okay, what's going on, what's happening, and you kind of have to like piece it all together, not in a crazy kind of way, just kind of in a more, who is the time traveler, who is she talking to, is it this guy over here, or is it that guy over there, is it, you know, da-da-da-da, and then you find out that like two of the characters are the same people, and it's all awesome. And the young girl is obsessed with A Wrinkle in Time, and I need to read that book so that I totally understand what's going on and what she's talking about, because there were some characters that I was like, I kind of know who that is based off of, you know, the TV movie that happened forever ago with the bad CGI, but I should sit down and read that one day. Yep. Then we have Frazzled by Bookie Vivat, and this, so funny, so good, so good. And it is a middle grade novel again, and it has all sorts of illustrations in here. It's so great. It's about a middle child who's going into middle grade, and she is just so like, oh my gosh, I don't really know who I am, what is happening, what, huh? Just overwhelmed, and also like she feels like there's some unfair things going on at school, especially in the cafeteria, so she starts a program in which they start trading snacks and stuff like that, and she gets into some trouble, and then her brother's like, hey, let me give you some insight on, you know, things, and just really helps her out and figures out what her kind of thing is, like what can she do, what's her passion. And so I really like this. I feel like no matter how old you are, you can relate to what she's going through in this, as far as like things that are unfair and you try to fix it and it goes wrong, and then, you know, somebody else comes in and is like, hey, here's some perspective on some stuff. So really enjoyed that. I don't know who to thank for a recent book slump that I was in, that I got out of, that I just, it was like an all over like booktube, didn't make a lot of videos, didn't do a lot of stuff, but like I really love this book. It's Guerrilla by Ashley Poston, and it is a fairy tale adaptation of Cinderella, you guessed it. And I went into it thinking it's going to be a Cinderella story, basically, but with nerd stuff. But it is so much more. I was definitely like tearing up in some parts, but it's like in a good way, like just Dragon Con feelings, guys. But it's this girl, Elle, yes, Elle. And she grew up obsessing over Starfield with her dad. And her dad, I don't know how recently from this book, had passed away. And she's living with her evil stepmother and evil stepsisters and working at the Magic Pumpkin, which is a vegan food truck, with her friend, which at the beginning of the book, not so much friends, but it's a journey. It's a journey. But she gets this random text from this guy and it's like, I'm not gonna be able to make it to the con. And she's like, I don't know who this is, I don't have anything to do with that. Her dad helped organize the con. Basically, you find out that the text is from this actor who is the lead in Starfield. I really enjoyed the cuteness of the text message conversations, but also I liked the fact that she and her friend got together and made the costume for the costume contest for the convention and made it so much awesome and good. And I was like, I just need pictures. I just need somebody to dress up like this for Dragon Con or something like that. I'm not good at costumes, but like, somebody to it, please. I know the author is all up into some fandoms and mentioned Battlestar Galactica and some other ones in the author event, but I just love all the feels. Like, you know, when your favorite thing is being resurrected, being brought back up into the pop culture-ness through Netflix or through new movies and stuff like that. Like, it just like totally encapsulates those feelings so good. For Month of Matson, I read 2 books, starting with Second Chance Summer, and this one I had some mixed feelings about, as far as like there were some characters where I was like, what's happening with that person? I don't know. But I really overall enjoyed this. It's about a girl whose father is diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and they give him like 3 months to live, so he's like, I want to live at the lake house. And so they go to the lake house, and little Miss Ma'am Taylor has to confront her past because she ran away from 2 of her friends about 5 years ago. Seems like a lot of her books are like, hey, 5 years ago, guess what happened? But I started reading the Katie Finn book. Can you tell? At first, they're like, don't want to talk to you. You did some sketchy stuff. But when she actually confronts them about the stuff, they're like, oh, we're just like confused because you ran away and now you're wanting to be friends or something? Which I guess makes sense. I was just like, okay, how do you go from being like, I don't want to talk to you, I'm gonna be mean to you, to like, oh, I wasn't actually mad at you, I'm just like, what's happening? Again, I liked this book overall. I liked that there is so much family in it. Like, that's always a good plus for me in YA, is the inclusion of family. Because since some YA books, and a lot of YA books, it's just like, here's these teens over here with no parental supervision at all, which she doesn't really have that much parental supervision, but also she's kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say she's goody two-shoes, but she's very, like, protective of herself. So she doesn't get in too much trouble. There's a couple of scenes where she's, like, going off and partying for, like, a hot second, but not too much. So overall, again, enjoyed it. Good summer read. And then we have Since You've Been Gone, which is another big Morgan Matson book, but I liked this a lot more. I really liked it. There's just, like, a nice incline of just goodness in this one. Don't know why. Just so good. Probably because this one has less self-sabotage in it, just a little bit. But I really like this one. It's about this girl who, her best friend disappears, and she's like, where did she go? What happened? What do I do? And she doesn't tell anybody, which is kind of strange. I know that's a thing for young adults shows and books and stuff like that, where it's like, there's a terrible thing happening. Oh no, can't tell the cops or parents. So she didn't actually like disappear in a bad way. She just like, her whole family's gone. And so she gets a letter in the mail that's like, here's a bunch of things you can do. It's on the back of the book. And at the end of it all, I hope you find me and tell me, basically. And so throughout the summer, Emily makes some new friends and sets out to complete the list. And I felt like so good because she's like, okay, here's a way to push myself out of the boat, get my wings, learn to fly, all that fun stuff. That sounds like a Miley Cyrus song. Another family-filled book. I really enjoyed that part too. And just overall, just like so many good feelings, especially with her and I forget his name, like Frank, that's his name. And just all the new friends and just like, I felt like all original characters. Like, I know, you can always have original fun people, but like I feel like just if you like Girl Meets World, I feel like you'll like this book. So here are all the physical books. I also listened to the audiobook for Alex and Eliza by Melissa De La Cruz, which is totally adorable. So if you love Eliza, you should totally listen or read that book because it's good stuff. It's just, right? Like, Melissa De La Cruz does that thing where you're just like, I just need a story that is super cute, but is also, there's a little steam at the end. She's good at that little steam. It's overall very adorable. I have not seen the Hamilton musical, but I've listened to the soundtrack a lot of times. But this is like the beginning of their relationship up to their wedding night actually, or up throughout that time, and definitely a little bit of steam there, but totally adorable and great and wonderful. And there are a couple of nods to the musical. There's a couple of lines that you might find that or that, but I'm glad that it wasn't like all the time, here's a thing drop, here's a thing drop. It felt like its own kind of thing, especially since it's that little portion of time instead of like their whole marriage. It's good. So I hope you enjoyed my wrap up for the spring of 2017. I hope you guys have a great day. Let me know what you've been reading lately and what you recommend. Bye! That sounded weird. That sounded totally normal.